Good morning. Welcome. My name is Angela. How's it going? Today is Wednesday, April 8th, and this is day 8 of the 30 days of vanilla JavaScript. This is where I go live every day for a month, the month of April, to complete a JavaScript, what we're calling it, a project, a challenge, a prompt. Basically, this is my way of just improving my own skills, which I say every year, Angela, you are going to get better at JavaScript, and this year I'm finally going to do it. So here we are. Let's just cut right to the chase, shall we? Let's just talk about what it is that we are going to get done today. So first of all, let's digress for a moment and talk about what we did yesterday, which is the filterable list. Oh my gosh. This had an impact on me because as soon as the stream was over, right away I was like, I have to add this to the site for the navigation because we have 31 nav items. And some of these are grayed out because I haven't built these pages yet, but still 31 nav items. I thought this will be absolutely perfect for this list of nav items. So I, yesterday afternoon, immediately implemented it and it works beautifully. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I mean, I'm just thinking about all the applications for this type of very simple search for the types of sites that I build. Static websites, right? Maybe the occasional JSON file or API here or there, but mostly static websites. So I'm pretty excited to have learned this yesterday. I had so much fun building it. And yeah, I was immediately like, I have to implement this for my own site. So pretty excited about that. Today we are working on the theme toggle and caching data. And we've done this before. We did this maybe a couple of months ago, a month ago, like not long ago at all, when we built the responsive video gallery. This is like the first web app that I ever built. Like this was back in 2013. I hadn't even had a job yet. I had been freelancing, but I had not even officially been employed as a developer. I mean, I was a developer because I had been freelancing and I had this idea and I built it. So after all these years of responsive video gallery in its native form, I was like, you know what, we're going to redesign this because it had originally been built with jQuery. So I redesigned it, rebuilt it all with vanilla JavaScript, and we implemented a light dark toggle with I think local storage to remember the selection. So we are not going to reinvent this wheel today. I think today is actually going to be a more CSS heavy day. And I wanted the challenges to kind of switch off. I wanted it to maybe be a little easier one day, a little more complex the next day. No CSS yesterday at all. We didn't write any CSS. It was all JavaScript. And I think today is going to be some JavaScript, maybe a little more CSS, but that's important on a theme toggle to get those timings correct. Now, we also have the added complexity, and I didn't exactly plan it this way. It just sort of turned out this way. We have the added complexity of basically already being in dark mode with our solid colors, right? So we are going to change our solid color to probably like a white. Let's just go with a white color. And I'm not going to change everything. I am not going to change the color of the nav or the search drawer because once this is on mobile, this turns into a drawer. Take a look here. So I'm going to keep the drawer. I have to change this teal. I forgot about that yesterday. This feels a little awkward to me. So we have the close button and then we have the clear button for the input. So excuse that. I'm always refining the styles. But anyways, my point is just that I'm only going to change the theme, I think, of this main body. I don't even think I'm going to change the theme of the header or of the drawer. And that is in line with this because this has a dark drawer as well. And I didn't change that for dark mode. And I think that's okay. I think that's a style choice, a style preference, right? So that's what we're going to do today. And I'll tell you right now, because I worked on these styles after we deployed this project, it wasn't quite right. Like some of the things, like the transition just wasn't quite right, and I didn't know why at the time. And once I dug into it and sort of refined it, it's really all about that timing. So when we do that transition, and I always do 300 milliseconds, in the past, I've tried to make some things a little slower and some things a little faster, thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I guess I'm feeling like I need to do that to make it smooth. And it really turns out that you just need to keep it all the same. If you keep it all the same, you get the smoothness that you are looking for. Also, some things didn't have a transition. So we were changing the color, but there was no transition. So we had timing where some elements were faster, some elements were slower, and some elements had no transition at all. That's why it looks so crazy. And once I was able to get in here and really make all of the transitions the exact same timing and make sure that everything was transitioning with the timing, then it instantly became this beautiful, smooth transition. So I want to make sure that we're doing that again today as well. We have just a plain button here for a theme toggle. We are also going to style this. Oh, I just closed this. We are going to do this style toggle, which is just a button with a couple of divs that slides back and forth. That is all that is. That's all that is. So I think we should go ahead and style the button first. And then it's going to be a click event where we add dark to the body. That dark body class is going to do all of the heavy lifting. It's just going to do all of the work. Once we get everything styled, then we will come back and we will add the local storage to remember the selection. So that's the plan for today. And I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be amazing. So we'll go right here. I think this is a good view. And let me put the link in the chat. So if you would like to follow along, if you're interested in the GitHub repository, I have everything linked down in the description. And then when we're done, as per usual, we will get everything committed up to GitHub. We will deploy and make sure that everything's live on the site. Yeah. Let's say hello to a few people in the chat. Memory Clips is here, our friend from Turkey. Have a good stream. Thank you. Malik Robinson is here. He is our mod in the chat. Go Elmo. Welcome. Oh. Can you hear that? It's very dramatic. Okay. Sorry about that. Listen. It's a beautiful day. The weather is very mild. We just had like a cold snap for the last week where it was just so cold, and I just need to have the windows open. And I also live near a fire station, so that's what that was. My apologies. But also, hopefully everybody's safe. Okay. Dante is here. Welcome, Dante. Thank you for coming. Tom Coding Dev, awesome to be here. Tom, you have left me some very nice comments on my videos. Thank you so much. I think also, if I'm not mistaken, I think somebody was asking a question about on the video, on the live stream for the toast notification, what's a toast notification? And you left a very elegant, thoughtful message explaining what it was. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Jan McCreatives, I'm loving these streams so much. Very encouraging. I've been procrastinating to build my site for a while now. You know what? I understand procrastination very well. Very well. It's a hard thing to break out of. I don't know why I do it, and I've done it my whole entire life. And the streaming has been, the streaming has just done so much for my confidence. It forces me to not procrastinate. If you are looking for ways to break out of that procrastination cycle, I would actually encourage you to try maybe something like what I'm doing. Christian Codes does that. He has never had a job as a developer. He's learning and he's just streaming his own learning process. He has a great style. He's very chill. I love how he interacts with his chat. His channel is growing like wildfire, which I'm so happy for him that he's growing so quickly. If you're looking, if you feel, and it'll help you also with your confidence. So I would actually encourage anybody who's looking for a way to like break out of their procrastination cycle to maybe give something like this a try, but also it's not for everybody. So I am just saying it worked for me. I'll throw that out there. And here's the other thing that I've learned about procrastination and motivation. Motivation doesn't just materialize out of thin air. God, I wish it did. The number of times I woke up in the morning and just was like waiting for motivation to just like bestowed upon me. It just doesn't work like that. You need motivation comes from momentum. So you really literally just have to crack open your text editor and get going. And the great thing about front-end development is that we get this instant feedback loop in the browser, right? It's like code, refresh, boom, it's there. So we get this instant feedback loop that I don't think the back-end folks get quite as easily. I'm just guessing, because we get this instant feedback in the browser. That's what keeps me going, at least. But even with that, I still procrastinate. So just open up your text editor, get started. Don't worry about having a plan or understanding exactly what you're doing. Let the creative process happen through the work. That's the other thing, is accepting that you do not have to have everything planned out. You just have to have like a little inkling, a little nibble, a little niblet of an idea and get going and get started. Maybe it'll work, but more often than not, as you're writing code and as you're seeing your own feedback loop in the browser, you'll have an idea and you'll be like, oh, I could try this, or I could do this, or maybe this would work. And that creative process only happens in the doing stage, not in the thinking stage. So you really have to be in the doing stage. So yeah, if I could encourage you to just get started, do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah, I mean, it's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there. There's nothing like scheduling a live stream and having people show up in the chat to keep you on task. That's all I'm saying. So, okay. Well, with that being said, I'll do my little reminder to ask you to like the video if you haven't already. It helps the algorithm, helps get this pushed out to more people who might be into this type of thing. Subscribe if you're not already. I would love to have you. I'm here, like I said, every day for the month of April. But even when I'm not doing a 30-day sprint, I'm here 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we just practice vanilla. We work on our ideas. We encourage each other in the chat. That's it. That's it, baby. That's what we do. So, okay. So let's just read what the assignment is. Add a light dark mode toggle and save the choice. So we're toggling a class on the body. We can totally do that. Check a saved preference, local storage, updating accessible labels. What labels would we need to update for accessibility? I honestly don't know why we would need to do that. We'll keep going though. Nice extras. Use system preference on first visit. Okay. I think this is a media query. I think this is a media query. We'll have to go back and look. I don't remember if we did that on responsive video gallery. Animated icon swap. Yep. So we're going to do a toggle that goes back and forth. Persist toggle button text. I don't know what that means. Persist toggle button text. Like something that actually says light and dark. I don't know what that means either. I'm just going to make it, I I guess we could do like text. I mean, what the hell? We can do text. So maybe instead of just like a sun and a moon, we could actually have text that changes and says light dark. We could do that. Okay, MDN prep, local storage, match media. We don't need match media. Class list toggle, JSON stringify, JSON parse. Not required unless storing more data. We're only gonna. I'm just telling you, I'm gonna look at what I did in the GitHub repo for responsive video gallery, and I'm not even gonna look right now. And I don't remember if we used match media. I know we use local storage. We're obviously going to class list toggle. Yeah, we're not reinventing this wheel. So let's start with our button. We'll get our stuff in place. We're going to write a little CSS, and then we'll get our, we'll do our event listener to add the body class. Today's going to be fun. Caffeine Cowboys says, I've been encouraged by watching, started working on a website, Node backend, Postgres database, never played with anything but MongoDB and MySQL, documentation for the win, and many cocktails. I love that. I love that. Enjoy the cocktails. I don't drink much these days, but I enjoy the occasional, I don't know. I'm like a beer and wine girl. I love to have the occasional glass of wine. I'm a red lady these last couple of years, or just give me a beer. I'm good with that too. But I think I would go for like a Diet Coke or a cup of coffee before I went for a cocktail, but documentation for the win. I totally agree. So it remembers on-site reload. So you're talking about, yeah, local storage remembers on-site reload. I'm so sorry, Malik. I think that you're about 20 seconds behind me. Are you talking about match media or local storage? Should we just look at that GitHub repo? Because I don't remember, and I know I got it from ChatGPT. So here's responsive video gallery. It wasn't a lot of code, though. It was like a baby amount of code. Right here. Here's the toggle dark. Okay. So here's the event listener to toggle. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Add event listener, body class list toggle. That's literally all we need to do right here. And then local storage set item. Theme dark, theme light. And then we check the saved theme. We get what it is. And then if the saved theme is dark, on page load, we just add dark. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't know why we would need match media. The window interfaces match media method returns a new media query list object that can then be used to determine if the document matches the media query string. Okay, I think the other thing that they want us to do, checking a saved preference. They want us to do what's the media query? Media query saved preference. Let's see here. In CSS, user preference media queries allow you to detect and respond to a user's system level settings, such as dark mode or reduced motion. I can't talk today. reduced motion directly within your style sheet. These queries check for specific settings in a user has saved in their operating system. Okay. So @media prefers color scheme dark. And then we literally put in these things. Did we do? I can't remember. I don't think so. I feel like I would remember that. Let's just look. So here's all of the dark mode styles. Here's the dark mode toggle. I didn't put anything in a media query. So if we just use a media query, then why do we need match media? Like, why would we need this? A string specifying the media query to parse into a media query list. Just like in CSS, any media feature must be wrapped in parentheses inside the expression. For example, match media. Okay, I've used match media before, but why do we need JavaScript for that? I don't know why we need JavaScript for that. I've done this before to get the width of something. I don't think we need this. I'm not going to use this. But I will make sure that we do prefers color scheme dark, prefers contrast, prefers reduced data. So do I have to do all the CSS twice, once for the media query and once for the toggle? Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. I asked ChatGPT to give me this information, and ChatGPT wouldn't know that I had already done this and I had a different approach, right? Because it's JavaScript and there's a million ways to do literally everything. So let's go ahead and build our button and push forward. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming to Hangout. Are we ready? Let's open our components. Here's our theme toggle. Here's our CSS. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, here's our button. So it is a button. We need, if I want, so the button itself will be pill shaped, and then there needs to be a, I'm going to say a div inside the button. I'm going to give this a class of well, the button is the toggle, so the div would be the I'm going to call it the animated toggle. So it's the thing that's animated. And it doesn't have content. The button itself doesn't have content. Well, does the slide need to have... Does the slide... I don't... If it's just a UI element, I don't think that this needs to have text. And let's make sure that there's an ARIA label on the button. And the ARIA label can be... So I think we're going to say that the default is dark. That's our default, is dark. Dark mode. So when we press the button, we're going to update the ARIA label to say light mode. And then we'll have text here. Oh, but we don't need an ARIA label if we have text. Yeah, we don't need an ARIA label if we have text. So this can just say dark mode. But we do want this to be in a span because we're going to have to target it in order to change the text. Or can we just do text content for the button? Yeah, we can just do text content for the button itself, right? Change the text content. And then this is going to be the thing that slides. And then I do want to do the SVG. So that is going to be not part of the button, but outside of the button. So we need a container, and I'm going to call this the toggle container. So we'll do that, and then we'll add SVGs before and after the button. So let's go grab those. I like to use Ionicons and sun. Here's our little sunshine. Projects. Sun, moon. Here's our moon. Okay. And we'll say ARIA hidden true. And the accessibility of the SVGs, I am not concerned. The color doesn't need to meet a color contrast anything because we're not interacting with the SVGs. We're interacting with the toggle. So the toggle contrast is what's important, not the contrast of the SVGs. They are decorative. So there's that. Okay, so that was the sun. Let's do the moon. So do we want the sun? So I feel like the default value should be on the left, and the thing we toggle to should be on the right. So we're going from left to right. So I'm going to switch the order of the SVGs. So I'm going to put the moon on the left and the sun on the right. And we make sure that it's ARIA hidden true. And again, make sure when you're using SVGs that you are taking out the inline colors. So we have stroke, current color, and we have stroke, current color. We're going to take those out, and now we will have control over the color of the SVGs using fill or stroke in our CSS. Okay, now we can do Flexbox on our toggle container to get these things lined up. We can style the button. We'll be able to change the text of the button with, I think, just button text content. And then this div will be the animated toggle. We don't actually interact with this div, so it doesn't need screen reader text. We're just, we only need text for the button. That's all we need. Yeah. And then our button will be the event that adds the dark class. So actually, if our default is dark, then we're adding a light class. That's what we're doing, is we're adding a light class. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let's go ahead and style this. Close this. Close this. Where do we want to put this? Here's our toast. This is our light, dark toggle. So I'm going to start with the toggle container. And we'll just make this display flex. Flex flow. This will be a row, no wrap. Justify content. I'm just going to say center. Align items, also center. And then we'll give this a gap of, I don't know, 0.5 rems. We'll see how that looks. Beautiful. That's perfect. We're almost there. Okay. And then we can go ahead and we need to get, I think we need to give our SVGs unique classes. So I'm just going to give this a class of, what is this? This is the moon. I'll just call it the moon icon. Oh, there's already a class in here. So I'm going to change this to moon icon, and then this can be the sun icon. So we've got a moon icon, and the moon is going to be what color? Black. And we know that because this is blue, because we do default styling for all of our SVGs to know what it is, it's got stroke. Also, part of this is also white. So did we miss a, yes, we did. So we missed an inline color there. There. Now we know that we have complete control over the SVG. I think this is I love it. We're going to turn this into a little pill shape with toggle. Chef's kiss. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Okay. So our moon stroke is going to be, actually, let's just purple. That's what we did. We'll just do black. We'll check and see how it looks. We can always refine our colors later. I'm not worried about that right now. Let's just get everything working. Yellow. Let's just do yellow. I like that yellow. It's nice and sunny. It's not going to be very... I mean, I still want people to be able to see it, but we can make it orange. I mean, I do want people to see it. Orange red? Orange? Yeah, we're gonna have to purple. What about like violet? Blue violet. Okay, we're gonna go with this for now. We'll have to see how things look. Yeah, okay, we're gonna go with this for now. I wonder if it would have been a good idea to use, instead of an outline, what if we did a filled moon and a filled sun? Yeah, let's just replace our SVGs with something that has fill instead of stroke. It's going to make it easier to see. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Let's do that. That's a good idea. We can handle that. Okay, so here's our updated moon. And it's probably going to have fill, not stroke. That's okay. Aria hidden true. And this is the moon icon. And I don't see any inline styles, which says to me that that's probably going to be a fill. That's fine. So we'll just change that from stroke to fill. Here's our sun. Oh, true. Again, I don't see any inline styles here, so that tells me that's probably going to be a fill. So we'll update our class names. So we'll change this to fill. Big improvement, big improvement. We'll decide later if we need to change the colors. Again, we're interacting with the button, not the icons. They're decorative, so there's that. Okay. Let's change our button into a pill. So the perfect pill shape, the way you get a perfect pill shape, let's add another class here. We'll call this the toggle button. The way you get a perfect pill shape, and this is not going to work inside the button because the little circle is going to be toggling, so it has to be outside the button. So we are going to need an ARIA label. Do we need an ARIA label. Dark mode, but we also want text. We also want to see text. So where are we gonna put that text? Do we want to put it above? It can't be inside the container. What if we toggled this? Theme toggle / dark mode. And then what if we changed dark mode to light mode? Right here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. And then I think, don't we have a class that says button outline? That could do a lot of the work for us. Yeah, button outline. So let's change this class to button outline. That's going to help us with some styling. And then we have to, there's no text in there, so we got to give it some, we need to give it something. So now let's style this class the toggle button. So let's just give it, I think we just need to give it a width and a height. So we'll just give it a width of, I don't know, is 200 pixels too big? And then a height of 50 pixels. Honestly, not sure. Where's the outline? Button outline. Why don't you have any styles? I gave you a class. What else do you want from me? So if there was text in here, do I not have styles for outlines, button outlines on? What is happening? Am I losing my mind? We've got button styles for outlines. Hang on. Button outline. Because, we have to have both. You have to have both classes. You can't just have button outline. Got it. Okay. I forgot how I designed my own thing. There we go. There we go. I think that's a little wide. I don't think it needs to be that big. So you gotta have both. Gotta have both. I forgot. Let's try 150. There we go. Okay. We don't want this. There we go. There we go. Now for the perfect pill shape anything, it's just border radius 50 VH. There you go. Perfect pill shape. Yeah, so let's get our little circle in there. Okay, so we know that we have a width of 150 pixels. We have a height of 50 pixels. Let's make sure that our little circle, our animated toggle, fits neatly into that. So I think ideally I'd like to see at least 2 pixels all the way around. Yeah. So our animated toggle, if it's going to fit neatly inside of a 50 pixel container with 2 pixels all the way around, I would say that that would be a, let's do some quick math here. Let's do some quick math. 50 minus 4 is 46 divided by 16. 2.875 rems. So let's do a width of 2.875 rems and a height of 2.875 rems. I don't know. I used pixels for the button. Does that matter? Does it? Okay, and then let's make sure that this has a background color of, well, we're going to be changing it. So if the, see, this makes me think that we don't want hollow. I don't think we want outline. No, let's keep going. Keep going. If we're dark, not sure about some of my color choices. Okay, and I think we need to make sure we need to change our padding for our button. So I think we just want to have 2 pixels of padding. Yeah. And then our toggle needs to have a border radius of 50% to make it a circle. Yeah. So here's our button. Here's our animated toggle. I think I got this math wrong. I think this should be 40. Did I get this math wrong? Oh, there's 2 plus the border plus the padding. So it would be not 4, but 8. So this needs to be 42. Yeah. There we go. I think this is still really wide. Let's just make this 100. Oh, maybe 125. There we go. And then let's make sure, let's take out, I think we don't need, yeah, let's just do, there we go. Now when we hover, I want the background to be white. And I also want this to be white. Why did I make that black? White. So we need to change the hover, the focus hover active for this. I promise you, if you're here for the JavaScript, we're going to get to it. But there's the whole point of this is that you still have to, you gotta write a lot of CSS to change the themes, right? So we're gonna say background color, we're gonna just keep it as white for now. So oh, but we're, so what should this be? So I think this is going to have to match whatever the color of the page is. Our default for our pages is teal. So I'm going to make the default teal. And then let's just go ahead and get it in here for navy, which is what we're on. So this will be dark navy. I want to be able to put this any place, right? So we want to make sure it works on every page. Well, it's also going to be on our UI components page and on this page. Okay, so now we have a navy toggle, a white background. And when it switches to, so this is dark, and we see here dark mode. And then when we switch it over here, we'll invert the background and the circle color. So we have enough contrast here for our button. Yeah. Okay, it's coming together. Hopefully you can see that my plans are very loose when I get started with things. And I just trust the process. We trust the process. And Rumi is here. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing my best, Rumi. I'm doing my best. How are you? Roha-chan is here. Good to see you as always. I watched the past live with the toast. Great content. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I have been, so I've been editing the live streams and then releasing them as individual project videos, which was kind of always my plan to do that. And I watch back and I'm like, ooh, I have to make sure that people know that this is a project video. I am teaching this to myself. This is not a tutorial. You are here to watch me solve this problem. So, and Tom Coding says, nice catch. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I apologize. I didn't see this in time, but yes, I'm catching things regularly. There's lots of catching here. There's lots of catching here. So, okay, I'm loving this. So now what's the animation, right? So here's our little toggle. We kind of want to set this at 0. So we're going to use transform translate X, and X is horizontal, right? And I'm just going to set this to 0. We're just going to give this a value of 0. So we have to do a little math now. Our button is 125 pixels wide. We have a 2 pixel border and we have 2 pixels of padding. So we need to slide this 42 by 42 button over. It's a positive number, and we need to make sure that it's even. We see an even amount of space here, right? The 2 pixel border for the button and the 2 pixels for the padding, so 4. So what is that? If we slide that over, okay. So we have 125 minus 42 minus 4, right? It would be 4 on the side. So we have 125 minus 42 is 83, but also minus 4 is 79. So I think we're going to slide that over when we have the light mode class on the body, animated toggle. Then we're going to translate X. What did we say? 79 pixels. And then we want that transition to be smooth, so we will transition the transform 300 milliseconds, ease in out. You can use any transition. That is the one that I like to use. So when we add light mode to the body, that is the equivalent. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to click the button, add light mode, and we'll see it slide. And how do we test that? Well, let me show you. Let me show you how I do it. It's going to come up here to the body, double click. We'll say light underscore mode. Pretty close. So clearly I just got my pixels wrong. It's got my pixels wrong. So it's not 79. How did I get that wrong? It's going to be 75. We have to minus 4. So I think I was supposed to subtract 8, not 4. Okay, so let's try it again. Boom. Look at that. It's beautiful. She is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and write our event listener. So when we click the button, it happens automatically, and then we will write our CSS to reflect the light style. So again, default is dark, toggle is to go to light. That's what we're doing. It's a little bit backwards, maybe, but I don't make the rules. I'm just here working within the rules. So, okay. Here is our theme toggle. Make this a little bigger. So we'll do function init theme toggle and I'm going to put this down here. And we need to scope this to the entire section, not just the container, because we need to change the text of this H2. So I'm going to give this an extra class, the parent container of theme toggle. And then I'm going to say const root equals document query selector theme toggle, and then we'll do that guard statement. If there's no root, just go ahead and return. Now everything we do is going to be scoped to the root. So we'll go ahead and say const title equals, equals root query selector, and we're getting the secondary heading. Let's copy this here. And then we want the, I don't think we need to do anything on the toggle container. We are clicking on the button. The button is the thing that the keyboard will give focus to. The button is the thing that the screen reader is going to read out to the user as being interactive. So you are doing your toggle not on the container, on the button itself. So we'll just call this the toggle equals the root query selector, and we have an ID here, but I'm just going to use toggle button. I'm going to use the class. And that's it. That's literally all we need. So it's going to be toggle, add event listener, click, and then we are going to, we'll do is active toggle. Oh, we need the body. Can't forget that. Body equals document dot body, and then this will be body toggle, class list toggle, and we're going to toggle light mode. Is that what I said it was? Light mode. Yes. Light mode. Okay. So we're going to come back to this because when we get to our local storage, we're going to, we need this. We need this. So we're going to come back to that. We'll just leave it here for now. And then let's also make sure that we are updating the text here. So let's put this in a span. So that's easy to update. We'll give this an ID of, this is the toggle mode. Not already using that, am I? Toggle container, toggle button, animated toggle, call it the toggle mode. There's the toggle button. Here's the heading. Actually, we'll say toggle title here. And instead of secondary heading, we'll grab this instead. I don't think we need the whole heading. We're just going to change that one word. And this is an ID. So we can go ahead and say, actually this is perfect. So we'll say if is active toggle, then title text content should equal light. I'm just changing that one word, right? Let's see what happens. So now we should see light, the word light update, we should see this animate, and we should see our class. So this is working. Why isn't our title text content equals light? Why isn't that working? Hang on, what's happening here? Cannot set properties of null setting text content. Can you not change the text? Yeah, you could change the text content on root query selector toggle title. Did I? Oh, look, I didn't save it. Hang on, I didn't save it. Okay, I didn't save it. There we go. So now we have to change it back. Always got to change it back. Else. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this. But here we are. Look at that. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Okay, so now we have a bunch of CSS to write, and we're going to come back after we finish our CSS, and we are going to do the local storage. Yeah, we're going to do the local storage, but we really have like the crux here done. I love a good toggle. Who else doesn't love a good toggle? There's a loud truck out. Hang on. Another fire truck. I don't know what's happening in the neighborhood today. Something's happening. Okay. The coding guy is here. What are you doing? I'm a new sub here. Well, first of all, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, this might be a good time to remind people, hey, if you haven't liked the video yet, would you be so kind as to do so? Helps the algorithm, helps get this type of thing pushed out to more people who might enjoy front-end development. All vanilla here, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And of course, this is day 8 of the 30 days of vanilla JavaScript, where I go live every day and I just work to improve my own JavaScript, which is the thing that I would say that I struggle the most with. I mean, it isn't even that I struggle with it, it's just that I don't practice it enough. So this is me just practicing my JavaScript skills. I'm much better at building UIs, vanilla CSS, accessibility, search engine optimization. So I'm just trying to like make myself a more well-rounded developer, and I'm having a blast. I have to tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying myself. So there's that. All right, let's get started on our CSS. So again, I am not going to change the color of the header. I am not going to change the color of this. I need to fix this. This should be navy. I'm not going to worry about it now. We are going to change the color of the body. And we'll change this as well. And then we'll just have to go from there. We'll also add it to the UI components page, which is the UI components page is teal, and it's like our default. So we'll make sure that we get it added here as well. In fact, let's just add our markup now. We'll get it over there, and then we'll go back and forth between those two pages to make sure that everything is looking good. Yeah. I'm just going to copy this. I think we can put this back up here. Okay, here's our theme toggle right here. And then this is day 8. Whoops, day 8 theme toggle. Here we go. And this is also teal, so that's working. That's the dark teal. Wondering if we should make this. So here's our default. I did dark as default. Let's just go with the normal, not dark. Yeah, I like that a little better. So now we're matching the page that we're on, and then let's go back to our actual toggle. There we go. I love it. I love our colors. I can't. I love our colors so much. Okay, Angela, calm down. Okay. So the best approach, I can tell you right now, probably the best approach is going to be just starting at the beginning and working our way down. Yeah, just starting at the beginning of our CSS file and working our way down to decide what we're going to transition and how we're going to transition. So let's start with the body and our background colors. So let's see how this works. Body, light mode, background color will be white. Whoops. And the color will be black. And we want to make sure that we are transitioning, right? So we're going to transition. We're going to transition the color 300 milliseconds, ease in, out, and then we're going to transition the background color 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. Pick whatever timing you like. Okay, so we can see right away where we need to update our styles, right? Honestly, there's not that much to do. You know what I want to do? Instead of black, let's make it the dark version of whatever's happening on the page, right? So I think we could do I think we're going to have to do, well, first of all, our default is dark teal. I don't think there's going to be a shortcut for this. I think we need to do one of these. So this is going to be light mode. This is going to be the navy, hang on, navy light mode and the pink light mode. We don't need this. I don't need this. And this is going to be navy, and this is going to be pink. There we go. So now we have the dark version of the text. Is it accessible? I think it's accessible to not need the dark version. It seems a little harsh, doesn't it? Let's check the accessibility. Color. Come on. Oh, stop. Yeah, it's plenty dark. We're up to AAA. Here's what I'm also thinking is maybe it doesn't need to be white. Could we maybe do like the light gray, which is almost white, but just softens? It's not like the stark, like, boom, white. You know what I mean? let's try it and see how it looks. Here's the light gray. We could also just go with gray, which is also very light. You can even see here the subtle difference. It's just a little softer. Boy, that's a very smooth though. There's not going to be that much to do. What if we just did gray? Let's see what that looks like. You'll be able to see it. I like that even better. I like that even better. So that's going to be our light, which is not even, which is very smooth. That's very smooth. Let's look at our UI components and see how it looks with the teal. It also looks really nice. So I think this means then that if somebody's in light mode, we're going to want to add borders to our forms, aren't we? To make sure that there is contrast, because this is not enough contrast. So this is good that we checked this page. And I think we need to add a border. I think we could just go ahead and add, no, we're going to transition this. We're going to transition this. We already have a border. So we'll transition this. Okay, this is good. Okay, let's go back to our theme toggle. And I want to say hello to Emilio, also a mod in the chat. Welcome. I always forget about adding in the ability for a web page to be dark or light mode. I need to be better at it. I don't think it's a requirement. I think it's an enhancement, a UI enhancement. I just assume everyone likes to be blinded by intense white web page backgrounds at 3 a.m. like me, right? I think it's an enhancement. I don't think it's a requirement. That's my personal opinion. So, okay, so let's make sure, let's just go from top to bottom, right? We'll go from top to bottom. So what else do we need to do here? I think we just need to update our links. We can do that. So let's keep going. Here are our links, which are just all white. So we're going to do, we're really just doing this and this. So we need to make sure that we have, it's going to be, so for the default light mode, it's going to be teal. So it's going to be the body class, the anchor element, and then we're going to change the color here. And we're going to change the color here. And we need to make sure that we are also transitioning the color. We're already transitioning text decoration color. We have to transition color now too. Color, 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. So here's our default, but this isn't going to be white. It's going to be teal. So even though teal is our default, and I do put teal on the body, I'm not relying on teal. So, okay, so now we can do this for navy and pink. So this is going to be light mode. I think navy is going to come first. Navy, light mode, and then pink, light mode. So this will be navy, and this will be pink. And we can test that. Oops, we accidentally changed that. And also we're not getting our so I think we can also add, I feel like we can just stack these up. We have to make sure that we're still getting our transition to transparent, which we're not. We're gonna do this. We can just, I think we can just stack all these up. We don't need to have them all be separate. And we can do this. Nope, it's still focus. And we'll fix our navigation here in a second. There we go. And then I kind of feel like we can we just do, instead of doing separate styles for all of the navigation, can we just do not navigation anchor elements? I don't know. Let's try it. Whoops. I can't remember. Was this... I can't remember if that had a hover state. I feel like it did. Yeah, it did. Okay, so we just lost our hover state. That's okay. We'll fix that. Okay, so this works for not messing with our navigation. And then I feel like do we need to do the same thing here? I feel like we might need to. Nope. There we go. That worked. Okay, good. I knew this was going to be a CSS heavy day. I knew it. But we're doing good here. Okay, so now we also just have to exclude the text in the footer and our logo. That's it. And a few more styles. And then we'll check our components page to see if there's anything we need to do differently there. But it's honestly not that bad. I know that this looks crazy. I know it looks crazy. But I think it's okay. Sometimes things get crazy. Sometimes things get real crazy. So here's our, let's just take a look-see here. So here's where we sort of reversed engineered everything. I mean, how would I do this differently to avoid all the things that I just did? See, I don't want to mess with this. I would rather do it up here. I would rather do it up here. Yeah. I'm gonna go with this. I'm just gonna make a decision and go with it. So, okay. And Clash of Clans Legend is here. Hello, welcome. Instead of the code guy says instead of white, use gray 200 or 300. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing here. So we are using a nice soft gray. And Emilio says, if it is not crazy, then you aren't trying something new. Agreed. Totally agree. I completely agree. Okay, let's make sure that we're excluding our primary logo and our footer. Right here. So I'm just going to say, I have to probably, I think, oh, gosh darn it, I have to add, I have to add primary logo here too. Yeah. Well, do I? I don't want to, but I have to. So I don't really want to. Okay, I have to think about this for a second. This is getting, oh, maybe if I just, I didn't explicitly define the color here. So let's just put the color in and see if we can override it. Maybe that's all I needed to do. No. Maybe. Oh my God. Really? I can't. I hate using important. But maybe it's appropriate. I don't like using important. My God, I'm doing it again. Well, I don't do it very often, but it gets me out of this pickle, doesn't it? So I don't have to like define these for every combination. Okay, well it's imperfect. It's imperfect. It's not the way I normally like to do things, but here we are. So, and then our footer, we have to make sure our footer. So I think we can't we just say color? White. There we go. And we have to do the same thing for our link. You're gonna let me just do this? No. Okay, I have to think about this. This is the hard part of excluding something. Okay. Light mode. So it's going to be navy first. I guess we're doing it the hard way. But we can combine these. The first one is just that. This one is this. Light mode, footer. Light mode, footer, anchor. Why isn't this specific enough? Why isn't that specific enough? It doesn't have enough specificity. Okay, I'm doing it again. I actually don't know how to make that more specific. Navy, light mode, footer A. I have the extra, I even have something more specific in here. Navy, light mode, footer, anchor. That is more specific. Not navigation anchor. And this is not inside of a nav element, so that wouldn't count. How would I even make that more specific? Navy, light mode, footer, anchor. Well, there's only one anchor. Should I just give it a class? That'll make it more specific. But I'm gonna have to do that for everything. And we'll just call this the footer link. I'm gonna have to change it. We'll do a find and replace. So do I need do I even need that? Is that specific enough? That is specific enough. What is happening here? Am I losing my mind? I'm on the wrong, I think I'm on the wrong page. Wait a second. What page am I on? Day 8, index.html. Why am I not seeing this class? Footer link. Oh, it's because, yeah, that's not specific enough. Okay. Footer link. Footer link. Why can't I see it? Footer underscore link anchor. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's not apparent. That. There we go. Now it's working right here. That is specific enough. Okay, good. So now we don't have to do all of that stuff. But I do have to put in the hover active focus. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. So focus. There we go. And the code guy says to add an ID. No, we're adding a class. We can add a class. We don't need an ID. I prefer classes. And also says you should change the mode, the subscriber. There would time given. Please make it 1 minute. Right now it's 25 minutes. If someone subscribes, you can only chat after 25 minutes. It's actually 20 minutes, and that is by design. That is by design. I don't want it to be after 1 minute. I want somebody to be serious if they're in the chat. So it keeps the riffraff out, if you will. So that is on purpose. But thank you for the comment. Okay, so here we are. So we're going to say, what was it? The text decoration color is, well, we're going to hover focus active. So it's, so it's transparent, and then we'll set this to white. Text decoration color. Text decoration color should be white. Oh, that only works because I put important. Okay. Yeah, it's not more specific. Yeah, it's not more specific. I knew this was probably going to happen, so that's okay. So let's try this again. Navy, light mode, footer link. Yeah. I will not be beat. You can always be more or less, thank you, finally. You can always be more or less specific, always. I've used important twice. I don't want to use it again. So we can do this just for everything. So we've got light mode, navy, and then we'll have pink. And then we'll do this. We can do this for everything too. I'm good with this. So for these, take out navy, and then for these, we'll add pink. So if you're switching, I think this is probably not a normal use case for something like this. Probably most people aren't rotating through 3 colors every 3 pages on their site. I've never done that before. This is just something unique. That's kind of why I'm running into this battle of the specificity. But I also think that if you're going to do a light dark toggle, you will run into some specificity issues, especially if you're not transitioning everything, right? So now, yeah, and I'm starting to think this gray is a little too gray. It's a little too warm for me. So I'm actually going to go back to the lighter version of the gray. I don't want it to be quite that warm. So I'm going to put in the light. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. So let's see here. And we are getting a nice smooth transition between these colors. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks on our teal page. Yeah, we're getting a nice smooth transition here as well. Oh, this did not. Let's see here. Go down to our footer. So I don't think our default is working. It may need that extra class, which I'm using. I'm using the extra class. Oh, hang on. We got to update the, we have to actually put the class on all the pages. That's why. So let's do that. We'll just do a little find and replace. I'm going to go down here. So we are looking for, we're going to look for, we'll just do a find and replace. And I'm going to take this out. And then we'll go ahead and do a find and replace. And there we go. So that was specific enough. Good. There's our class. So the only other styles that I think I want to do here, well, we're going to have to adjust our button styles, right? When they're inverted. How are we doing on time? We are doing just fine on time. We are doing just fine. So how about this? I'm going to propose something. Well, I don't know. I'm feeling lazy now. So let's keep going. I think we need to account. I think we could add borders for our forms. So when we switch between light and dark, we have contrast. I think we definitely have to restyle our buttons to account. Yeah, we need to restyle our buttons to account for the toggle. Okay. Well, let's actually style the toggle as well. That's the other thing that we need to do. So let's see here. And the coding guy is asking, is it responsive? The site is responsive, yes. There are a couple little responsive things that I've missed day to day that I'm going to go back and clean up. But yeah, the site's responsive. And how are you handling the AI bubble lately? And do you fear your job as all of us? So I am not, I'm self-employed. So, and there is still very much a demand for freelancers and consultants, or at least in my experience, there has been. Um, I'm not having trouble finding client work or consulting work, but I know that it's rough out there for a lot of people. I know that there have been big mass layoffs, and new developers especially are competing with really experienced developers. My personal opinion about AI is that it is not taking over. I know companies are sort of jumping the gun a little bit to replace developers, and they're learning the hard way that that's not really going to work. Of course, AI is replacing some people, but I think that there is still very much a demand for I think there's still very much a demand for developers who know what they're doing. And if you've been caught up in the layoffs, which it looks like, the code guy says, "I lost mine already, so no fear." Oh, I am sorry to hear that. Um, I know it's happening. I know it's happening. I mean, I use AI for a lot of stuff. I use ChatGPT. I do occasionally use GitHub Copilot. It is not the end all be all. It is enormously helpful. It can help solve problems with code. It can help you find the bug in a code. It can explain things really well. It does not replace people, and I stand by that. But I also know, I think what's happening right now in development is that it is bigger than AI. I think AI is a piece of it, a part of it, but before the AI fear that everybody was feeling, there was already something happening, right? Like we had the great resignation of 2022 when tech companies were like way over hiring and overstaffing. So I think part of what's going on is that yes, AI has made people faster, more efficient. You probably need fewer developers to get the work done, but also companies were over hiring, and they're correcting that now, right? And I think it's really shitty that people had to lose their jobs in order for that to happen, for that overcorrection to happen. But I also think that that's a normal part of the workforce. I mean, I'm by no means an employment or data statistician, but I'm old enough to know through the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s that these things come in cycles, right? There was the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, early 2000s too. So these things happen every decade or couple of decades or so. Am I scared? No, I'm not scared. That's why I have a YouTube channel. That's why I put myself out there. That's why I'm constantly demonstrating my ability to problem solve and to think through problems and to show people that I know how to do the work. I am doing everything that I can to set myself apart if I need to go get a job again or to bring in new clients or new freelance business. This is one of the reasons that I'm here. YouTube is literally my greatest marketing tool for me. It is. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes, right? I practice more. I avoid procrastinating. And what you see is what you get. So if you need a developer and you're like, huh, I wonder what she's like to work with, here I am. This is it. This is what I'm like to work with. So, yeah. I'm a senior dev at Adobe, and honestly, I am fearing for mine lately. Yeah, I'm sorry that that's happening. I believe that that fear is very real. So, imagine you prepare so hard for a job and get kicked in 10 days. It will crazy. Okay, so you're feeling it happening quickly. Well, the coding guy, I think you said that you already experienced a layoff. I'm so sorry that happened. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I do lots of sharing on this channel. Listen, there is no HR department here. It's just me, and I say what I want when I want, and I don't worry too much about it. So, so there you go. Um, we're gonna keep going. We got more to do here. We got more to do. So let's keep moving. I don't think we have that much more to do, but we have some styles to account for. And yes, it is slightly more complicated because I've got 3 color schemes to filter through. So let's go back to our original navy and let's make sure that we're just changing some of these styles on toggle. Oh, we have to do the local storage too. Okay, so you know what? I might take care of some of those form styles myself later after the stream because we need to also get this deployed and do our local storage. So Tom says, that's why I love you. Well, thank you, Tom. I love you too. I love you all. I love you all. Okay, we got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. Okay. I'm going to take care of some of the form styles separately after the stream today. We're just going to finish styling this toggle button. And then we need to get things to, we have to do our local storage also, which is not complicated. So here's our colors for our animated toggle. We also have styles already for this. So when we are in light mode, we are changing, I want to change the background color. So it's teal. Oh, this is the toggle. I want to change the button. So the button background color, hang on. So the button So the default is white. I better just put it in here. So the default is white. The hover active focus is also white because I'm just reverse engineering what I've already done for the button styles. Okay. And then we're going to change it based on the page. Yeah, the whole page thing really added a layer of complexity here, didn't it? Background, and then the background color is going to be navy. Well, it's going to be navy light mode. And then we also have to have one for just the teal. And the pink. So let's see here. I think I got this right. Oh, shiza. We need to do it for each. And then we have to make sure that we are transitioning. So we'll do the transition, background color, 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. Perfect. And I think let's change this now. So this has a default background color. We need to make sure that this also transitions the background color in addition to the transform. 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. And then we're going to transition this as well to white. I think that's always going to change to white. Hang on, why didn't you change to white? I think we have to put this right down here. I think if this just needs to be maybe a little more specific. There we go. The other thing we need to transition is the border. So right now the button has a border of white. So the border color is white. So I'm just going to define it here also. And then we're also going to have to change it, transition it, border color, 300 milliseconds, ease in, out. And I think we can just do this. Whoops. I think we can just do border color for each of these, right? Make 3 colors, they said. It'll be fun, they said. There we go. Nice. Now let's make sure that that works on our teal page. Yeah. So I'm any additional things around, like colors around the forms and things like that, I'm just going to do that myself offline because I am happy with this. I want to get the local storage bit in here, which should be a breeze, should be famous last words, should be easy. I am happy with this. I even like our purple and our orange. So let's make sure that, and I'm also not going to worry about the media query right now because we're running a little short on time. I mean, maybe we should start doing a QA list, and at the end of the 30 days, maybe we could just have a couple of days where we do some QA together too. I mean, I mean, we can do whatever we want, right? Okay, local storage. So I'm absolutely not going to reinvent this wheel. I'm going to look at what we already did because I know that it works. So let's see here. So it looks like there's just a local storage set item, theme dark, theme light. Did we have to put theme someplace? Or is this just a keyword? What does that do? Oh, local storage get item theme. That's why. So we're calling it from here. So we're setting the item and then we're getting the item. So it's local storage set item theme. Whoops. So we're already doing this. So local storage set item. The theme is actually light. So if it's active, the theme is light. And then it's, whoops, what is happening there? And otherwise, it's local storage set item theme dark. And then so we're going to save the theme, get the item, local storage get item, local storage get item, getting the theme. If the saved theme is light, then we will add light. If saved theme equals light, then body class list add light mode. And we're just adding it. We don't need to remove it because I think the toggle takes care of that. So we'll see if this works. So simple, extremely simple. The CSS is doing all of the heavy lifting. You will run into some specificity issues, but honestly, I think that that's good because it teaches you about specificity and it teaches you about like good CSS strategy. I made it 25 times worse for myself because of all the I chose. Can you imagine if I had decided to do like 4 or 5 or 6 colors? Oh my gosh. So, okay. So how do we test this now? We really just do this. So if we should just, the way we test it is we should just be able to refresh. Wait, right? You should be able to refresh. Did I miss something here? Toggle, add event listener, click. Oh, body class, yeah, if save theme, light. Should we delete our cookie? Okay, why are we not saving? Can't we see this? Shouldn't we be able to see this saved? Where does local storage get saved? Where do we see local storage? I can't remember. It's here. Let's see. Toggle add event listener click is dark. If it's dark, local storage set item. So I'm just doing it the opposite, but it should remember local storage get item theme. Const is active toggle. So if it's true, then we're putting light mode on the body. We're changing this to light, and the theme is light. Otherwise, we change it to dark, and the theme is dark. Saved theme equals local storage get. Do I just need to like let's try and restart. Let's just try and restart and see if that does something. Why isn't it remembering? Why isn't local store? Did I have to, is there something else I'm supposed to do? Let's see. No. I might have to how do you check local storage in the DevTools? I can't remember. So let's I just want to so we know that if is active is working. We know that's working because it's toggling the title. Can we console log? Local storage, get item, theme. We should be able to see it on click, right? Light. It should, why isn't it remembering? Oh, so if the saved theme, if the saved theme, so why isn't local storage working? Okay, I have to ask ChatGPT for help. Yeah. Because I don't know why it's not getting saved. Did it not save it locally? Do I have to deploy it? Does local storage, maybe does local storage not, oh my gosh. Local storage is not working. All right, hang on one second. I have to go close the window. Hang on. All right. I can hear trains. I can hear people. It's too much. Okay. Did local storage not work locally when we were doing responsive video gallery? I cannot remember. Application works on local build. I don't remember if it worked locally. Okay, well, we're just going to ask for help. My local storage is not working on Chrome using VS Code and Live Server. I'm not in incognito mode. Let's see what he says. It's okay to ask for help. Oh, dev tool applications tab in Chrome, not sure about Safari. You're reading and applying the saved theme inside the click container. Oh, look at this. This is outside the click. Okay. That's why. Here, we're inside. We have to take this inside. We have to take it out. Just like that. So now we should be able to, okay. See? Okay. There. Now it's saved. Yep. And on page load, we get it. Okay. Boom. We're good. We got it. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. So now we'll leave the console log in. What the heck? So now we need to add our markup and our JavaScript. I'm going to close out our CSS files. We're going to add our markup and our JavaScript to the page because that is what I do on. I always make sure that the markup and the JavaScript are available. So we'll do that and then we'll get this deployed. And then, yeah, I'll chat with the chat when we're done. Okay. So we have an H2 with the class of secondary heading. And this is the HTML. And we need a pre-code block with a code language classes markup. Okay. What are you barking at, Heidi? And let's ask ChatGPT to format this. Please format this markup. I'm using Prism.js for our code blocks. And when you use Prism, anytime you put in pre or code blocks, you have to, I guess, escape or encode some of the characters. VS Code will also flatten out the structure. So you have to add your own NBSP, non-breaking space, in order to get the indentation. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but in my opinion, it is totally worth it because I like having these code blocks. So now you can see, here's our code. And you know, the whole point of this is to build like this nice little library of JavaScript and examples. Oh, excuse me. I love it. I freaking love it. Okay. And now we'll do our JavaScript. So that's a section with a class of section and an H2, the class of secondary heading. And this is the JavaScript. And we need a pre-code block and a code with a class of language, JavaScript. And we will ask ChatGPT to format this as well. Please format this JS. These. And here's our JavaScript. Look at that. Beautiful. And then let's see how that toggle looks on our components page. Yeah, I'll make sure that our forms, it's really our forms and our buttons that need to be updated to reflect the theme. So we should be able to see this now. Interesting. So it only, yeah, I guess it only happens on the pages because that JavaScript, this theme toggle only exists on this page and on the UI page. It's not on every page, so we're not going to see the theme change on other pages. Um, I mean, I could take this and just add it to our global script file. I could. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. It's always going to be I have to think of the strategy. I have to think of the strategy that I want to use sometimes for things. So, okay. So let's commit this up to GitHub, up to our repo, and then we will deploy this. So this is our theme toggle with JavaScript and styles. All right. And then I'm just using good old-fashioned FileZilla to get this up to the server. If you're new here, I do all of my deployment on just a basic, very basic LAMP stack on DigitalOcean. I generally use FileZilla or I just rsync. I like using FileZilla because not everybody has a Linux command line, right? If you're on Windows. So, and FileZilla, because I build so many static websites, FileZilla just works. There's no back end to worry about. I'm just pushing up static files. So, okay, so we need to do our components. We need to do all of our days because we changed the footers. We have new SVGs. We don't need this images folder. We need our UI components. We need the 404 page, the home page, the CSS page. And I'm going to probably end up but do we want the theme to be on pages where a toggle doesn't exist? Right? So if I'm going to make sure that every page is toggleable, don't I have to add the toggle to every page? I feel like I do. Okay, so let's turn off live server and look at the production site. All right, I'm in a little here. So here's our theme toggle. Everything's working. And we can refresh. Good. And we should see that also on our components page. Yeah, I clearly have to deal with some styles here. There's more styling to be done to support a theme switch, clearly. But we do have a nice transition, so I'll work on that. I'll work on that. It probably won't be today because I have client work that I have to do this afternoon, but I will work on it. But you get the gist, right? You get the gist. It's a work in progress. So, Monique Robinson is here. Welcome, Monique. Also a mod in the chat. Malik says, great work as usual. Lots of good learning today. Yeah, it was a heavy CSS day, but we've had a few heavy JavaScript days. So, Zora, is it Zora? I think it's Zora. Am I remembering correctly? Zora is here from Paris. Welcome. So tomorrow is form validation states. So what do we have here? Submit event, prevent default, checking empty fields, showing inline errors, a success state. Nice extras. Email format check. I can already tell you that I'm probably not going to do an email format check because you do have to do that with regex. So here's my philosophy on patterns and regex for an email format check. There's lots of code out there if you Google it. In my opinion, it almost never works. It almost never works the way you think it's going to, and here's why. So let me just tell you about my experience with that. At the University of St. Thomas, we were a Salesforce organization, and at one point, the Salesforce team said, can you put, this was before we switched to Lightning Web Components. The Salesforce team says, can you put a pattern on the email inputs because people are not filling out their emails correctly, meaning they're like leaving off the dot whatever. It didn't work because a lot of international students, prospective students, might have, like, just as an example, a dot uk.com or I don't know what it is, but it could be a dot something as the normal domain. So if you're putting in a pattern to check for .com or .whatever, top level domains aren't 3 letters anymore. They could be something. It could be a full on word. It could be 2 things. It could be 3 things. It just doesn't work. So every time I tried to put in some sort of pattern or regex for email format checks, it broke the forms. It just didn't work. So I don't think it's a good idea to try and check the format of an email. I just don't. And I use my own experience as a developer to say that that's what I think. So we are not going to do that. But the rest of this stuff, I mean, if you had asked me, tomorrow's going to be day 9. If you had asked me 9 days ago how to do any of this, I would have been like, I have no idea. But I feel like this is a natural next project. I feel like I have a very good idea of how to do some of these things now, especially thinking about like the filterable list, where if we typed something in and we had to clear that, or just checking a value to make sure it's filled in, or if something isn't filled in correctly, we are adding something, we're creating an element and adding something to say there's an error. I feel like I have a very good idea about how to do this now. I also have my own code tucked away that I do use sometimes when I'm building forms. I almost always build my forms myself, and then I use an endpoint from FormSpree, which I just use the free version of FormSpree, which you get like 50 submissions a month. I don't get 50 submissions a year. So FormSpree is perfect for this. You can also, you don't have to name your forms ahead of time in FormSpree. FormSpree is just looking for the data to come through and logging anything that has a name, anything that has that API name. So it really works very, very well. But of course, if you're going to do that, if you're not going to embed one of their forms and one of their scripts, which you don't have to, you do have to have some things in place, right? You do have to have some things, error handling, form validation states, so to speak. So we'll take a look at what I have that I got from ChatGPT like a year ago. We'll take a look at what I have and we'll work our way through this and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, just to be clear, if you are a developer who has a different experience with email format checking or regex or patterns on emails, I'm all ears. Tell me what it is that I don't understand about that you can help me understand. I would love to know. It's always been a disaster every time I've tried to do it, so I just don't even try to do it anymore. If somebody can't type in their email, I get it. Email forums are so important for lead generation. We are going to have to rely on the user to type in their email address correctly though. Sorry, that's just where I stand on this topic. So, okay. With that being said, do me a favor, like the video if you haven't already. I would appreciate it so much. Helps the algorithm, helps get this type of thing pushed out to more people who might be into it. Subscribe if you're new. I'm generally here 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, but of course I'm here every day for the month of April. This is the 30 days of vanilla JavaScript where your humble front-end developer and software engineer, takes time out every single day for 30 days to just practice and get better. So there's that. Everybody, would you be so kind? Oh my gosh, stop. Have a great rest of your day. I'm getting mixed up. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow for the form validation states.